Hello folks. Oh, it's my time for my nice video of the week. The one I get to sit here unscripted and just talk to you, and I've needed this today because I've done a bit of recording and stuff, and it's one of those days where I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Do you know what I mean? It's not feeling great at all. It sucks, but you know, it is what it is. And we're here to do some Q&A. I fully know that this is going to come out a little bit later on than normal. That's because, to be honest with you, I've been recording today and, you know, I've not really had the mental acuity to just jump on and do something like this and be super, like, positive and happy and yay about everything. And I'll be honest with you, like, I like to be there. I like to be... The main reason this channel is here, beyond anything else, is to make sure that you guys have someone to talk to. And that I have people to talk to as well. Like, it's amazing for me. So for me to come on and be like, oh god, today's really shitty, and, you know, and all that sort of stuff, it doesn't really compute for me. Like, I want to be in a good mood when I'm doing this. But then I was speaking to somebody on the Patreon the other day. I keep calling it Patron. It's Patreon, you know. Anyway, I was speaking to somebody on there the other day, and we were discussing this, and generally we came to the conclusion that it's better for you to see warts and all, as in me when I'm at not at my best, especially in things like the Q&A sessions, which is, I get again what this one's going to be, rather than the Hobby Nightmares and things like that. You know, the other content I would like to keep as, like, big in your face, you know, flagship content. So we got, like, Hobby Nightmares, the lore stuff, GW stories, 40k rants, all that stuff is going to be... You know, you're not really going to see me in there. You're going to see Northern Exile, like the character Northern Exile, if there is a character. Do you know what I mean? You're going to see me giving my honest opinions on stuff and reading out stuff that I find is interesting. But it's not. I'm not going to be in there giving you the warts and all. I had a bad day today stuff. That's going to be in the Q&A. So hopefully you're okay with that. I mean, you know, it's one of those things. Because I like to keep these ones more slow, and if you like the QA stuff, those are the real guys on the channel, I think. The ones who are on the... I mean, I appreciate you all being here, and all the views that I get, I always appreciate. Trust me. It never flies over my head. Even when I get quite, shall I say, fatigued by YouTube, because I do. Sometimes I'm on the train coming back from a class that I've taught, or a meeting that I've had to be a part of, or a seminar that I've had to give, or whatever, and I'm on the train coming home, or I'm driving somewhere, I'm coming back, and I'm thinking, I cannot be bothered recording. I just can't. I just can't. I've got too much to do, got too much going on, I'm too busy, and, you know, it can get fatiguing every once in a while. And I think it's only healthy that I've also got a place to come and say, look, you know, this is how I'm feeling right now. At the minute I'm not happy doing this, I'll stop doing it. But I am very happy doing this, so it's not a huge thing for me at all. And the fact that the one thing that really keeps me going, and even if I don't get back to you, this is going to be a disclaimer before I start answering questions, by the way. So, you know, I will get to answering questions. If I don't get back to you very quickly, it's because I'm busy. It's not because, you know, I'm ignoring you or I can't be bothered. I'm just so busy, and I'll get home, I'll sort the house out, and by the time I'm done, my computer is off, or if it is on, I'm playing a video game to take my mind off of everything else that's going on in life, right? So, it's not like I'm ignoring you, anything like that, and I will always try and endeavour to get back to you eventually. But the one thing, please don't stop doing is letting me know how much it's helping, because that's the thing that keeps lighting a fire under me in terms of being on here and coming back day by day all the time, is having you guys say, hey, this is helping, hey, this is really good for me to have someone to listen to and to talk to, and to not just talk to, but have that weird experience of having a YouTuber or a podcaster or whatever who actually talks back, you know? And that's kind of one thing that I'm frightened of the channel doing, because what we do on the channel is very, very weird. We will tend to have growth spurts rather than steady growth. Do you know what I mean? In terms of subscribers. I've noticed whenever YouTube shows me to people, they subscribe. It's strange. Like whenever I get shown to newer people, those new people invariably, most of them subscribe, and it's a very nice thing to have. You know, it's awesome. Problem is that I very rarely get shown to anybody because I'm quite low down on the totem pole when it comes to the hobby and YouTube and things like that, which is fair enough. You know, I'm not here for what? How do I put it? I'm not here for clout or anything like that. You know, but it's just a pattern that I've noticed over the past year or so, is that one time in the summer and one time in the winter we will have a weird growth spurt out of nowhere. Literally, I won't change anything, I won't do anything, I'll just carry on as normal, and out of nowhere, bang, another 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers in a single month, you know. And then the other months will be like 100, 200, 200, 300, and then eventually 1,000, 2,000, 2,000, 300, you know, and it'll go like that. It's very, very strange. I mean, any growth's great, but it's just a bit weird how it tends to happen. So I'm quite happy with the content so far. I think we're doing okay, and I think we will make my 15,000 subscriber target by the end of the year, which is great, which is awesome. But please, we're not there yet, so please, you know, subscribe if you're new here. But I always think that these videos aren't really the ones to say this on, because, you know, it's not really for people who don't know me. You guys know me, that's why you're here. And also, I don't like being a shill. I don't like... the worst part of every video is the start. I hate it. I hate sitting here and saying, please subscribe, please go over to the Patreon, please... I hate it. Horrible. It makes my toes curl. I don't like it. But if you don't do it, you don't grow, and you don't get what you don't ask for. That's how human nature works. If I want the channel to grow, I've got to ask for it. If I want people to come onto the Patreon, I've got to ask for it. You know, if I want you to come on to the Discord and, you know, get better mental health, I've got to ask you. Please, come on there and help yourself. Same goes with Composite Games and all that. So, you know, whilst it sucks, it's still something I've got to do. Anyway, let's get some Q&A on, shall we? So, I have a question for your Q&A. Let's say I am almost 40 years old. I have a job, a wife, and a 7-year-old son. I have painted 40k models for a few years now, but I've never played a game. Oh, that sucks. I have looked into 40k, but I think it's too complex for me, and a game would take too long. I don't have any friends or family that are interested that much in the hobby as I am. My question is, what boxed game would you recommend for a total beginner that is a bit more casual? I know about Warcry and Killzone, and I kind of have my eye on Adeptus Titanicus. Sorry for my writing mistakes, because English is not my first language. No problem, man. Don't worry about it. It's really good. Anyway, thank you for the channel, everything you do for the community. So, this has a very, very, very simple solution. All right? That simple solution is, don't do Kill Team, don't do Titanicus, don't do anything like that. Look up something called one-page rules, and one-page rules is literally that. It's Warhammer 40,000 boiled down into a nice and easy to digest and use one-page format. You use that, and you take it to your gaming group or anybody that you want to try 40k with. That is the gateway drug for 40k for me. I used it on my mother. Yes, I used it on my mother just last... That sounds really wrong. I used it on my mother last week, and yeah, she loved it. We had a nice 500-point army each. You know, we had a right good laugh. We had a couple of glasses of wine, and we played some one-page rules Warhammer 40,000. My mum is in her 50s. Sorry, Mum. She's in her 50s, and she really enjoyed it. She had a really good time, and she's not into 40k now. It's not like a miracle thing, but she has said she'd like to do that again. Yeah, she'd like to go and play one-page rules again. So, you play a game with somebody over and over and over again, and eventually they'll want more complex forms of the rules. They'll want to jump in a little bit deeper. It's like, you know, treading water. You know, you don't just go into the deep end first, you slowly get your way in there. You go in the shallow end first, and you slowly work your way in. One-page rules, mate. Get on them. They're really, really good. Again, they're not the one-size-fits-all. And this is the thing that people in the hobby tend to do. They tend to sensationalize things. People were doing that with the Ravage Star for a while. Even though I love the models, I think like Ravage Star have really good Chaos models. Probably the best Chaos models on the market if you're going to go that way. But they're not like these industry-defining models. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Games Workshop will come back with better models of Chaos, and they already are, right? So, it's not... People tend to see anything that's not Games Workshop and celebrate it like it's the second coming of Jesus. And it's not, It's fine. For what it is, it's a gateway drug, mate. It's a gateway drug. If you want to start somebody in 40k, one-page rules is the way to go if you're thinking that it might be a bit too complex for them, or even for you. There are a lot of people out there who can't be bothered teaching 40k. That's the problem. And do you know how I know that's a problem? Because when I was trained to teach people how to play 40k in Games Workshop, they told me to disregard the rules. Their own rules. That's when you know your game does not work properly. When you're telling me to disregard the rules for 7th edition to teach people 7th edition. Doesn't work, right? The most success I ever had at Games Workshop in intro games was the start of 8th edition, when we had indexes and things like that, so I could say to somebody, hey, all the rules for all of the armies in this section of the galaxy are in this book. Not codex by codex, they're in this book here. If you're Xenos, you need this book or this book. That's it, done. And you're finished. And you can choose whatever you want out of that book. If you're Imperium, this book here. Doesn't matter if you're Space Marines, Imperial Guard, whatever, it's in here. You're good. Good to go. Off you go. That was a phenomenal thing that Games Workshop did that they should have capitalised on and done. But no, we went straight back to the fucking codexes once again. And we messed it all up again. And we're right back to our nickel and diming our own fan base, as we tend to do. They annoy me. They annoy me. Moving on, next one. How do you feel about Bolt Action as a game and Warlord Games as a company? Alright, so I played Bolt Action with a few friends of mine who... so one thing about me is a lot of my friends who are mates, who are blokes, tend to be older than me. Don't know why. My therapist says it's because my dad left when I was younger, and so I collect father figures. It's something that I do. I collect men to look up to. And that's apparently it's a very healthy behaviour. You were saying, so no, it's perfectly healthy. It means you've gone out and you sought out male guidance yourself, rather than like sitting down and like wallowing about it. You've gone out and you've gone, hey, I need guys who people want to be around. Why do people want to be around those guys? Now, it has meant that I have a lot of experience with toxic men in my life, like people who have changed it for the worse, or people who have introduced me to bad behaviours or things like that. But it's also meant that the few diamonds that I have really taught me a lot about life, the universe, and everything, and how things should work. And a lot of those men play Bolt Action. Just is what it is, right? A lot of those guys are play Bolt Action. And Warlord Games, I can't really say anything about, man, because I don't know anyone who works there. Never spoken to them, don't know anything about them, really. I do know I really like Bolt Action. And I really like games like Hail Caesar as well. Hail Caesar's brilliant. And my old lecturer used to play it in Durham. He used to love it. Dr. Woolmer. Shout out to Dr. Woolmer. He used to really like Hail Caesar. So yeah, historical games that aren't Games Workshop, brilliant. If you are, you will find that there are a lot of really common sense rule sets that are out there that are made by older anoraks. I mean, like, by older dudes who are part of the old school of wargaming. These are the guys who were into Warhammer way back in the day. People like the Bard from Bardic Broadcast, people like that, you know what I mean? And they will write their own rules and they will come up with really cool stuff. And a lot of the more sense-making rules that I've come across in tabletop wargaming have been a part of Bolt Action and Hail Caesar. Like Hail Caesar's mechanics, and there are also mechanics on Little Wars and things like that, about the Punic Wars and stuff, where it actually symbolises and crystallises what an ancient army would go through morale-wise. It's so clever. So clever. It's brilliant. But yeah, there we go. One other thing I'd like to do before I get into my next question is do a shout-out for White Bat Audio. In a lot of my videos, I have that running in the background. You can't always hear it because sometimes I turn it down because I need you to... I don't want to get drowned out because sometimes my OBS settings go a bit mental. But, like, they are, or he is, a really cool person who does free music for people on YouTube. So, if you like him, it's in this comment section down below. People always ask me, what's that music? And I always have to say to them, it's Wipeout Audio, it's this, it's that, you know. It's in the comment section down below. Sorry, in the description down below. Have a little look and see if you think that, you know, you like what he does. If you do, yeah, maybe give him a subscribe and help him out. Okay. How are new Successor chapters started? Who decides who on the lore? Who is the chapter master, etc.? How do you mean? Do you mean like how do we? Do you mean Games Workshop, or do you mean like in lore? How are our new or Successor chapters started? Well, in lore, well, figure that one out for yourself. In lore, read up on it. I don't want to just give you a spiel. Who decides who on the lore? Okay, here we go. Who decides who on the lore? Who's the chapter master, etc. So, a lot of the chapters of Games Workshop are actually over 30 years old now. They were there at the very start. And so no one person has decided who the Space Wolves are, or the Blood Angels, or the Dark Angels, or any of them. In fact, bits are added to their lore as the codexes come out. So you see first edition, second edition, third edition, each codex that comes out for different armies expands a bit more on their lore and their background, and sometimes their lore regresses. So, like, you've got people like the Dark Angels who gradually had stuff grafted onto them as time went on. You know, that they might be traitors, or that a lot of them fell to chaos, or that, you know, all that fun stuff, right? That was grafted on as it went. Whereas with Grey Knights, for instance, they started out at a place of extreme power in the lore, extreme power, that was eventually pulled down towards being normal Marines who are better. Yes, they are better, but they're not Custodes level. You know, Grey Knights back in the day were near enough Custodes level. Thanks, Matt Ward. You know, they were near enough Custodes level in terms of the lore, and in terms of their rules as well. They were near enough, you know, Custodes on the tabletop. I don't mean Custodes as they are now when they tried to balance them for the tabletop wargame. I mean Custodes as they are in the lore. Imagine a Custodian turning up in the Warhammer tabletop game like they are in the lore. Unplayable, right? Can't balance it. Well, that's how Games Workshop decided to do Grey Knights when they first came out. Complete nonsense. And, you know, so some chapters have had stuff taken away from them. So no one person really decides the fate of a Space Marine chapter as we're going along like that. Doesn't really happen that way. Things happen. It's really a decision of several different writers over a couple of decades. Some writers will actually leave Games Workshop before the next writer comes along and adds to what they were working on, you know? So it's a big convoluted mess. Which is why I'm kind of hoping that they will go and make some more chapters and give us some more lore for them, because it's quite interesting to see what they do with it now, when they're starting it again, when they're starting new chapters. I just think that's quite interesting. So hopefully they do that a little bit more, because they've started to do it over the last couple of years. We've got things like the Karkarodons, we've got things like the Sides of the Emperor, the Emperor's Spears, things like that. Pretty cool stuff. So yeah, it depends. It really does depend. I mean, the Emperor's Spears, for instance, that is all Aaron Dembski-Bowden, because he wrote an entire book series on this new Space Marine chapter. The Iron Snakes, right? There is an entire Space Marine series of books about the Iron Snakes, and they are a Successor chapter that's made by a writer. You can go and collect them, you can go and paint them, you can go and do all that kind of stuff. Actually, I really like the Iron Snakes, I think they're really cool. You know, the Soul Drinkers, all that fun stuff, it's all there for you in the lore to go on, but one writer has gone and done their thing with them. So, in a word, well, not in a word, but in a phrase, no one person makes an original Space Marine chapter, like Space Wolves and Dark Angels, but one writer can make a new Space Marine chapter. And normally those are writers who are writing book series, or it's a writer of a codex, essentially. I'm assuming that most of the lore goes through as QA teams, but I've seen little to no evidence of that, so... Based off of your current life, how do you think you would fit into 40k society? Would you be happy with that, or go for broke and try to become a Space Marine or something else? How would I fit into 40k society as I am now? I would be dead within 7.3 seconds, I think. Very specific number, but, you know, I think I would say one thing, immediate bolt to the head, depending on where I am. I would like to think that I'd be some kind of space marine, but let's be honest, I'd probably be a guardsman. I'd probably be a guardsman working in propaganda. Right? So, you know, considering what my YouTube channel is talking about different things that get sent in, you know? Yeah, I would be a guardsman focusing on Imperial propaganda. You know? Or, yeah, something like that. You know, I'd be hearts and minds. Or, I'd be a therapist. Oh my god, can you imagine that being a 40k therapist, being a guardsman's therapist? My god, your head would explode. But I'd try it. I'd give it a go. Yeah, so a propaganda or a therapist. One of the two. There we go. Right. Hey North, here is a talking point / hobby nightmare for you. It's a video of a guy getting asked to leave a Games Workshop store for filming. So I thought I'd send it to you as a talking point. Okay. Now I'm gonna click off on this and so I can so I'm just giving it a little watch now. Yeah, I'm feeling sorry for this manager. Yeah, okay, alright. So here's the thing. I'm going to put the link in the comment section down below if you wanted to follow along. It's in the comment section down below, the video. I think the manager there is completely in the right. I'm sorry. He just is for me. Completely in the right. You can walk into a private property with a camera if you want. That's not illegal. That's fine. You can walk in with a camera. You can walk in videoing yourself on your phone, whatever. Even if it's private property, you can walk in doing that unless there's signs specifically telling you not to. Right? What you can't do is keep filming on private property when you've been asked not to. Right? That is private property. You've been asked to not do that. If you then persist in that behaviour, you will be asked to leave. Here's another thing, right? Games Workshop plays host to a lot of kids, to a lot of children who go in there to partake in the hobby, to have fun. What they don't want is some fucking mark with a camera walking around videotaping everybody in a Games Workshop store. That manager, I feel very, very, very sorry for. He is completely in the right. Okay? He doesn't know who's going to walk into his store at any one moment. He could have a school group turning up, and you wazzock, you're turning up with a camera, shoving it in people's faces, trying to prove a point. That's a bit of a bell-end move, as far as I'm concerned. You know me, I will have a go at Games Workshop when they're in the wrong. I try and be fair here. If you're in the wrong, I will talk to you about it. I'll say, no, this is bullshit, you shouldn't be doing this, and that's how it is, right? Games Workshop are completely correct with this policy. They have a duty of care for the people in that store. Some people will not want to be videoed even if they're not underage. Some people will be very anxious. Some people will just want... Some people might even be being bullied in school because they're into Warhammer, and yet some prick is in there trying to prove a point with his little camera. No, get out of my store. Get out my store. Yeah, he is completely... And to be fair, he is... I would say quite polite in the way that you're saying, look, no, you need to leave. You need to leave. Like, this isn't a thing. You need to leave. You know? So yeah, the person in the video says, as I had such trouble trying to film the Games Workshop Limited in Nottingham not so long ago, I thought I'd see if a small Games Workshop store would be more accommodating. Here's how it went. Yeah, dude. Like, you know, I sorry, but like, yeah, we have kids in the stores. I don't want you videotaping kids. You know, especially kids that aren't mine, that I have a duty of care towards. If you walked into my class with a camera, it'd be getting shoved straight up your arse. Straight up there. And then you'd be in the sea. And no one wants to be in the sea, right? No. Absolutely not. It's very clear why we don't want people being videoed in Games Workshop. Okay, you wouldn't do it in a Disney store, would you? Well, this person probably would, but you wouldn't want to do it in a Disney store. You wouldn't want to do it, right, in any store where kids are. Kids are more likely to be in a Games Workshop than most other stores on the high street. Just is what it is. Okay? Games Workshop are in the right in this one. I'm sorry. You know, it pains me to come down on their side, but, you know, I will do because that's the right thing to do. And there we are. Impartial. So. Let's have a little look. So, I think that's it in terms of my question bag. Let me have a little look in my Discord pile just to see if I've got anything in there. Great, isn't it, when I'm doing this live? Awesome. Awesome stuff. Very interesting message, though, so thank you for the person who sent that in. Because I've never seen that before. Okay. One. Oh, yeah. I've been asked to do shoutouts for companies. This has happened several times now. So I had Levi's Jeans for some reason email me today, and then when I queried who it was actually somebody from Levi's Jeans, which is fine. I don't do business shoutouts for free. That's going to sound really bad, but I just don't. Like, I'm just... I have a platform. If you want to use it, fair enough. I don't ask for much. I ask Composite Games, right? I don't get... The only thing I get from Composite Games, being completely above board here, is a tiny percentage of the 5% that you get from checkout. I get a tiny percentage of that, and even that I don't get. It goes into a little wallet in the store that I can then spend to get stuff for, you know, the channel and for subscribers and things like that. I've been saving that up as well for the summer when we're going to do more giveaways in terms of painting competitions and things like that. Because if you've made it towards the end of this video right now, I can tell you now that the first painting competition we're going to do is going to be the Astral Blades, like making an Astral Blade. I'm going to give you the paints that you need, and you basically make an Astral Blade character, and away you go, right? Beyond that, there will be people who won the last... I think there was one person who won the last one that hasn't gotten their prize yet, or have they? I need to look at my file to see if they have done or not. If they have done, then they're going to get. Then they don't need any more prizes. If they haven't done, then I might just send a few more out anyway, just to say thank you for being a part of it. To be honest with you, I think that's what I'm trying to get at. But anyway, in the summer there will be more painting competitions, and that's what I'm saving up for right now. But that's what I get. I get a tiny percentage of what you give to Composite Games, which is right. They're giving you the models; it's their business, right? But I don't ask for very much. Is my point. So if you come to me saying, "Can you advertise my business?" Not for free, no. No, because if you're good at something, don't do it for free. You have a business, I have a YouTube channel. If you want me to do stuff for your business, no problem. You know, if you're Levi's, give me a free pair of jeans or something that I can wear. Every man needs jeans, right? Stuff like that. But like, I tend to think that smaller YouTube channels, people kind of try and take the piss. When they say, oh, well, you know, we'll pay you an exposure, or we'll pay you an exposure, but you know, being associated with our brand is enough, or you know, can you just do it as a favour? No, I can't. Like, that's not how business works. You know, if you come to me saying, hey, you know, we'll give you one free model a month if you do one read for us once a week, I'll be like, yeah, fine, no problem, absolutely no problem at all. Even if it's a model from that has no value. By value, I mean you're a new company. I've had that before, where I've had some. I'm going to start that in the summer. There's another company we're going to be working with who do their own models that have no value in the outside world because they're not a huge thing yet, right? It's just a piece of plastic. But I'm getting a free one, and with that free token thing, I can say, yeah, I now have one of these products. Go and have a look at these people, right? With Composite Games, when they first started with me, I made an order first. Because I bought one, legit. I made an order first. Because I wanted to see how quick they were in giving me my stuff. So then I can at least say to you, I use these guys as well. And here we go, right? That sort of thing. So yeah, Takes a long time to establish trust. I have that trust in the Composite Games. I'm not a very big YouTuber, so I need to be very, very careful about who I associate myself with. So yes, I would love to work with you if you're in the hobby space and you have a business and you want me to advertise it, no problem. But I'm not doing it for free. Like I shouldn't be a controversial thing to say, but apparently it is to some people. So it is what it is, you know. Pin me and pay me, as they used to say in wrestling. Anyway, love you guys, long time. I will speak to you tomorrow with some more Games Workshop stories. There's one. I've been waiting for this one for a while. I finally got it into me, and you know, I can't wait to read it. So, well, I can't wait for you to hear me read it. I read it out a bit earlier today. Anyway, love you all. Speak to you later. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be back. So tomorrow will be Games Workshop stories on Monday, Death Watch Law on Tuesday, Hobby Nightmares on Wednesday, Undecided Thursday, just yet, and Hobby Nightmares again on Friday. So, love you all. If you need anything, head onto the Discord. It's free down below. And if you want to send me in anything towards the Q&As, Patreon is the way to go. Or, even if you're a YouTube member, this should just email me. It's down below. Alright? Love you all. See you later. Have a good one. Bye.